We are live. Good evening, everyone. I'm so happy to be here, like every Wednesday at 7 o'clock in the night, Eastern Standard Time. We are having a beautiful woman that is going to share with you the story of her life. And that's what is amazing when we have, someone that is telling us what is going on in their life, what they are doing right now, but also where are they are coming from, where, their roots, their family, what is their passion, and all those questions that are so important for us to know. But also, I know that you are watching, and probably you can see yourself in their story, and that's something that we want to do every Wednesday. So it's going to be in YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook, and you can also find all the interviews before in all those channels. So I want to say thank you so much for every one of you that is watching every night or every Wednesday. And I want to introduce you tonight to a very special guest. That's her name is Raine Barnes. And I'm so happy to have her here because she is amazing. She's wonderful. So I want to give you the welcome officially, Raine. Thank you so much for your time and for being here with us tonight.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for inviting me. And for doing it in English for me. I appreciate that. This is so sweet.
No, it is my pleasure. It is my pleasure. Anyway, these interviews are gonna be in English and Spanish. Don't worry about it.
Oh, good.
So
Oh, good. So those who speak Spanish can still, because I thought I kind of feel for the people who only speak Spanish. I'm working on it, y'all. I'm working on my Spanish, but it's un poco, muy poco, very little.
muy poco. But you told me that you were taking classes of Spanish when you were in high school, right?
I did in high school and in college, but then I never used it. And so I just remember a few words. I remember un gato for cat because we had a collar on our cat with a little tag that said gato. And so I still remember
Gato.
that one.
So, guys, let me tell you something. I met Rain probably more than 1 year ago, probably 2 years ago. We were in the same forum and same project of coaching, and we started getting into each other, participating in different type of events, initiatives, and things like that. And then we are now, you know how it is that sometimes you meet someone and then they continue your life, and we are in a different movement right now, helping other women to, really realize that we can all can reach our dreams, and those dreams can come true. And that's something that really get us together here, and we are working with other women as well. So, but tonight, what is important is about Rain. I want you to understand who is this beautiful woman, and I know that you're gonna enjoy as much as I know about her. So, Rain, tell us about you. Yeah, would you please let us know, where you're coming from, about your family, whatever you want to share with us tonight.
Sure. Well, right now I live in Monument, Colorado. I'm originally from Florida, but I've moved a lot. My mother had us moving around during the school year, so I got to live all over the United States in many wonderful places. Always going back home to Florida, and I came out west about 7.5 years ago, and it's my home. I will go back for fun and vacation and stuff in Florida, but the mountains. There is something to the Rocky Mountains. Once you get here, it just draws you in, and there's adventure everywhere. And so this
It's
has
magic.
definitely become my home. And I love the woods. I love nature. Absolutely love nature. So I'm working on getting myself a piece of property and a cabin further in the mountains so that I just see nature all around me instead of other houses. And it's a beautiful
That's,
place.
that's beautiful. Tell us about your family, your beautiful
Well,
babies.
oh gosh, I have six wonderful children, and they range in lots of ages, like from 36 all the way down to 37 now, down to 19. And they are absolutely incredible. They're spread all over the United States. I have my youngest, my 19-year-old, living with me, who will be moving out probably before the end of the year to go off to college, which I'm a little heartbroken about, but he's been my heart and soul here these last couple of years with just us. But I'm a single mom and really just love life. I love my family. I am now the matriarch of my family. All of my progenitors have all passed away in the last few years, which is kind of strange to think of me being the oldest in the family and the women's side. But it's okay. I'm like, well, this is kind of cool, you know. Nobody telling me what I can and can't do anymore. Nobody telling me I'm not. Oh, you think you could do that? You think you could go on and do an interview with Ydalmis? What are you talking about? No, now I have them on the other side.
And I understand that very well because, like I have one that is 25. And when he left home, I know how you feel. It's an empty nester in one aspect, right? Because even that I have two more at home still, it's like when you are they're moving forward in their life and they are leaving, it's so broke. Your heart is broken because it's like, it's part of you, right? That is living apart. And now, when you see past years, Sergio left 5 years ago or probably six, and I see him, how well he have been doing, and he is very independent. We have a great communication, and when we have that in our life, that we are doing something good, right, as a mom,
Absolutely.
and also let them know that we are here anyway, but we want them to fly, and that's amazing.
That's our job as moms, as parents, is to teach them to be able to get out in the world and live their own life. And it's fun to see them live it. I know I enjoy when I go and visit my daughter in Florida and the grandkids. It's just so much fun to just see them. They're just thriving and watching her go through things that I know I went through probably 20, 30 years ago and go, yep, now it's your turn. And there, and one of the ladies at
That's
church
so
this
beautiful.
past week talked about that, how she was so overwhelmed. I'm so overwhelmed, with they're all so little and everybody needs me. I don't have anybody to drive anybody anywhere. And I talked to her afterwards and I said, you know what? Cherish it. Just cherish the overwhelm. When it gets overwhelming, think, I'm going to blink and they're all going to be gone. And I'm going to miss
Exactly.
this. And you really do. It doesn't seem like, but a couple of months ago when mine were all little and in diapers and stuff, and it's been a while.
Aw, but that's a beautiful thing anyway. It's like it's our legacy, right? And I think that nothing better that can describe our feeling for them, but at the same time it's like okay, it's time for you to open your wings, start flying. I know that you're gonna do good because I did my best. It's up to you now to make the decisions, right? The right decisions. So that's part of life, our circle of life. And let's talk about the professional life of Raine. Let's talk about what is going on in terms of where you started and where are you now?
Well, I've done a variety of things in my life, more so because I was interested in so many different things. And if I have found something that I really thought was interesting, I'd get a job doing it so I could learn how. And I might do it for a year or two and go, that was really cool. Okay, now I want to learn how to do this. And a few years ago, I decided to get into coaching. I actually became a John Maxwell certified coach and trainer. And I really, right when I got into it, I was ready to just jump into it. And then my father's health took a turn. And so I kind of put everything on hold and went and took care of him before he passed away. And then life just happened, divorce, all kinds of things got in the way. And so 3 years ago, I went, okay, that's it. I'm starting this again. I am totally in. I studied with Dean Graziosi and Tony Robbins and took their Knowledge Business Blueprint Club course and then the accelerated one and learned so many things that, okay, I am doing this. I'm starting my own coaching and motivational speaking business. And I left the post office. That was the most stressful place I've ever worked. And I thought, this is time for me. I don't want a job that's so stressful. It was terrible. I was blacking out at work all the time. It was just really all because of stress. So I started my own. And just as I got into it and I started getting clients, I ended up having a traumatic brain injury. That blacking out that I had been doing was due to high blood pressure, and I blacked out repeatedly over and over and over again in just a matter of minutes as I kept trying to get up, my son said, and I kept smashing my head into the ground, the front of my head and then the back of my head multiple times. and ended up with post-concussive syndrome, which is what boxers get.
Yes.
Totally wiped out my intelligence. Absolute no access to anything up there other than I knew my name. It was like having awake dementia. It was frightening. I still had 2 teenage children at home, but thank goodness they were older. They were 16 and 18, so they helped me with a lot of things.
Yeah.
And for the first couple of months, I don't remember anything. But I do remember thinking in May, this happened in February, I thought that May, I'm going to be back to my business. I'm the only income. I got to make this happen. And so I spent the next year trying to get my business going and trying to just make things happen. But I was so out of it most of the time that I couldn't. And I finally realized I had to just stop. I had to allow myself to be injured, and then I could move forward. And so it was huge, and it was hard at first to just pull away from everything. But I did. I mean, I stopped everything on social media. I was selling my home at the time, so it was like, okay, that's my focus. That's all I can do is focus just on this.
Exactly.
And that's what I did until just a couple of months ago. I went, okay, I allowed myself to heal. I'm doing much better. I got my home sold. I got into a new place. I got all settled in. Of course, then I got COVID and it took me out for a few months. And got past that and went, all right, definitely the universe is like, okay, she's out there. She's going to help a lot of people. So let's stop her as much as we can before she does. But that's all right too, because I learned from it and I learned how to push forward and to just keep going. And it really set me up for what I'm doing now and the people that I'm going to be working with and am working with.
And that's beautiful, Raine. When you are, I know you for 2 years now or more. I don't remember exactly when we met, but I remember that, seeing you through the process. And first, I want to say thank you because you are teaching us so much. Just being close to you is a learning lesson for us. That's the first thing. The second thing is like, I'm so happy and glad that you stop and recognize and acknowledge what happened, right? And that's something that we have to learn as a woman, in our daily job, in our
Oh, yeah.
daily, things that everything that we do every day. And sometimes we're like work, doing something without stopping, and we don't want to really take the minute and say, hey, this is my reality. Why I'm not taking care of myself first?
Yeah.
And it's beautiful that you just recognize it. You acknowledge that your situation was very difficult and was a terrible moment from you. I cannot imagine being in your shoes. So first, I'm happy to have you in my life, and also, having this conversation tonight, because it's so many women that probably have similar situations, and with your example, really we can understand better, how we can let our life telling us, like telling us every day, this is what you should do next. And that's what you were doing. You said, I want to focus in one thing at a time.
Yep.
And that's the way that you were creating, probably more self-confident again, going back to your routines, and see also your kids around you supporting you. And
Mhm.
that's amazing. Amazing. No words can describe the admiration that I have for you. So I want to say thank you again because we are learning with you. And I got chills because I have the opportunity and the pleasure to see you every week in our movement, and this is a big deal. It's a big deal to know when you are ready and when you are not ready. And it's beautiful also see you when you are full of energy, because you are a woman full of energy. And that's the real Raine that I know. And every time that you are with us in our meetings, I just want to just listen to you what you're gonna say, because you have so much to offer. And every time that you talk, it's like you are like kind of me. I'm very expressive, very hyper, and then we are kind of similar. So I'm pretty sure that all our clients and as a coach, we are similar ways to have the skills and the way that we coach is kind of similar. I'm pretty good. I'm pretty sure. So thank you so much. I really love this. Um, oh my God. So tell me about that moment that you found out this is not for me anymore. I don't want to be continued working in this postal office right here, and because I had those feeling before when I was in the industry. In one moment, it's like a turning point, right? It's like a
Mhm.
switch that we have to say, you know what, this is what I'm gonna do next. So tell me about that.
Well, it was building, that's for sure. I mean, I had worked my way up in the post office, became a supervisor, and was really wanting to work my way over into corporate training, but there wasn't anything close to me opening up. There was one that
Hmm.
opened up, but I was going to have to drive an hour and a half each way in good weather. One time I went up to that plant. It took me 6 hours and 40 minutes just to get to and from work that day. And I was like,
Hmm.
no, this is because of the snow. I'm like, this is not something I'm going to do. So I stayed as a supervisor, and the stress was so intense. I saw the toll and felt the toll it was taking on my body. One day in the middle of the meeting, I just blacked out in one of our meetings, and they called an ambulance, hauled me off to the hospital. And I knew then, it was like, this is more than my body can take. And if I keep this up, I'll be dead by Christmas. And then
Yeah.
who's there for my kids? Then who's there to help other people? Because during this time, I was working with Tony and Dean. So I had a plan. I'm like, this is temporary. I just want to do this till I can get out on my own. I've always been a free spirit. Always. I have had a few businesses throughout the years, and I loved working for myself. None of those were quite what I was supposed to be doing for
Hmm.
the long haul, which is why I didn't stay with them, but they helped me through a certain time. And then I just knew one day things just got really bad. I had COVID again, and I missed work for a couple of weeks. And then my daughter was having some things, and she really needed me around. Because when I was working there, I was gone 15 days a week, 15 hours a day, 6 days a week. It was crazy. So I never saw my
No.
children. And that's when I went, that's it. These guys are growing up and they're going to be gone. I want to
Yep.
be here. So I just made the decision, and I turned in my letter of resignation, and I had picked a date and said, okay, October 30th is my last day. And that was in 2019. And I jumped right I hired a new coach that day, created a whole new program, got things going. And I was so excited. Like I said, I had just gotten a new client, literally had just started with him when I had my accident. Fortunately, he was a very dear friend of mine. I watched him grow up. And so he's now in his 30s. So he worked with me. He knew I was like, hey, when I'm not having a good day, a good brain day, I'll let you know. And we would reschedule our training. And fortunately, he was very kind to do that with me, because some days I was fine and I could train. And then other days I was just gone, just
Yep.
gone. It's like in a zombie land. And so that was really how I made my decision. I just knew I needed the freedom. And looking back now, I couldn't have done it with this injury and still working at the post office. I would have
Yes.
had, first of all, the stress on me thinking, oh, on my awake days, I would have felt stressed that I wasn't able to be there, and that other people were now burdened because I wasn't there. And I don't want to put a burden on other people. I want to be able to lift other people. And so
I'm pretty
that's
sure that you agree with me. This is a divine plan. You
it
know
is.
what I
Oh,
mean?
it is
So we
definite.
we we talk about this before. We believe, in our God, and something that really I enjoy so much is like waking up every day and say thank you, Lord, because I'm still awake. And I think that when we have that as an engine in our life, that doesn't matter what is going on. I think that He have a beautiful plan that we can understand sometimes, but we don't have to ask any questions. We just follow, right? And I know that when you just say it, I cannot continue working in that place because look at what happened next. And then you were getting ready as a coach, and someone that really take care of you, that take you step by step. You continue growing, investing in yourself, grow in here, like be with, Graciosi, Robbins, all those investments make you a better coach. You have a better networking. You understand better how your program and your signature system is going to be, really helping, those people that are going to reach out. And that's the plan, and I'm pretty sure that we can relate to each other about this, because for me was very similar, like I was 25 years in the healthcare industry, loved it. I cannot say one thing that I don't like it. I
That's
learned so much. I really enjoy every position that I was running, every role, the people that I met, all the countries that I have to visit. That was beautiful. But at the same time, the same thing happened to me. I didn't have too much flexibility. I was every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks, I was in an airplane. I don't have time for my kids. Like I don't have even a relationship in one moment, because I was like, all over the countries. And at the same time, I knew in deep inside of me that I was doing this, learning a lot of techniques, ways to be organized, structure, kind of working with different type of systems, and I can implement that today, with my clients, one-on-one, group coaching, public speaking engagements, corporate contracts. Doesn't matter, because you have all those skills. The thing is that I know that deep inside of me, like you, we were, made for more, especially to help others and make the difference in the world. And I want to talk now about that, because I know your heart very well. And I know that you have so many things to do. But also it's one passion that I want to for you to share with us. Talk to us about that passion that lives in Raine's heart.
okay. Well, when you were talking about it being God centered, I actually have thanked him so much for this brain injury because of
Mhm.
what I've been able to learn from it, how I've been able to tap into myself. And I know others who have had or have experienced brain injuries and that are still healing from it. And my heart went out to them, but I couldn't empathize with them because I'd never been there. I mean,
Mhm.
it was just something I hadn't experienced. I saw what they were going through, but it wasn't the same. Now going through it, it's just opened up a whole new world for me. Like, for my passion is really to help people, businessmen, businesswomen who have had, whether it's a serious accident or maybe even with some people, it might be just a major lifestyle change. Maybe it was a divorce, a really, traumatic divorce,
Mhm.
or the loss of a loved one, and it just shut their brain down because that kind of stuff it just can close you up. And especially after a brain injury, you realize as you're waking up that you're a different person.
Mhm.
Well, after you've had divorce or lost a loved one, you're also becoming a different person. I mean, this is a totally different part of your life that you hadn't
Mhm.
experienced before. And so you have to learn how to tap into who you are now and be okay with that. Be okay with becoming different. I'm on a couple of different traumatic brain injury Facebook groups, and I read a lot of the different posts that people put on there just so I can see how are they hurting? How's everybody hurting? Where can I help the most? Because I see what I've been able to do for me. I started out with simple little things. I really literally would get my phone and I download an easy game, just some easy little matching game. And that's what I started with. And when it got too easy, I'd delete that app and I'd put on a little bit harder one. And I worked my way up back to being able to do logic games because I always loved logic games because I like to really think and
Mhm.
get intricate details and have to pay attention to the different steps and the different details. Oh, this goes here. And oh, could they have this? So I started doing that with myself and saw what huge strides I made in my intellect coming back online. Because when I say I lost my intellect, it's like, for those who know what filing cabinets are, back in the day when you'd have a big filing cabinet and you had all your files in there nice and organized, if you were to take that thing and just dump it on the ground and everything went everywhere, that's what happened to the files in my brain. And the intelligence was up there, the knowledge was up there. I just couldn't access it because it was scattered all over. So I had to learn, just slowly get things, and they are there. Everything gets put back in its appropriate file. But I had to take it step by step and not freak out. I mean, I didn't know how to cook. I didn't know how to do laundry. I couldn't do basic things like that. And I started very simple with the games, very simple, worked my way up. With laundry, I took my clothes and I put them on the floor and I just looked like it was the same color. And it was like, hey, and then I remember, I'll never forget looking at the washing machine and it said whites. And I looked down like, oh, that pile, that's white. Those are whites. Okay. And so I put it in there and I pushed the button, and that's how I got doing laundry again. Making food. I started with peanut butter and jelly. Simple things. Now I can cook massive gourmet meals.
I know.
Except for an occasional, I call it my oatmeal day. Some days, if I've done too many days in a row, my brain's tired and I need to let it rest. And sure enough, one day I tried to make oatmeal and I just couldn't. I couldn't figure it out. I was looking through cookbooks and I couldn't understand what the cookbook was telling me. And I was like, oh my goodness. I finally put something together and I took it down to my son and he's like, oh, you should have told me, Mom. I'd have come up and made it. Gosh, I can make oatmeal. I said, I just wanted to do this. But so now I laugh. If I have a day like that, which not long ago I did making pumpkin pie, and now I just call it my oatmeal day. And I don't stress about it. I don't worry about it. I understand that I'm still healing. And I may occasionally have an oatmeal day. And so I prepare for those. You know, if I know I have something big coming up, like with this interview tonight, I made sure that today was easier. I had a couple trainings this morning and a friend of mine wanted me to help him move. And I said, you know what? You're free tomorrow all day. Let's help you move tomorrow. Today, I need to allow my brain to be in the right place so that I can talk with Ydalmis. And those are the kind of things, you know, it's my passion to be able to help people learn how to do that. Learn how to regain your life, because you lose your life completely. I mean, I totally lost my life. And I became a recluse. And I've talked with so many other people who have done the exact same thing, from trauma to their brain. And I say it's not just brain injuries that cause it. Like I said, you know, total change in your lifestyle can cause that. And so be okay with it. Be okay with discovering who you are now. I love that part. It's been fun to just go, oh, okay. Well, maybe I'm not so good at that at the moment. I'll get better at that. But what can I do now that maybe I haven't done before? And that's been really a fun thing. So that's my passion. Help people get their life back.
For sure. For sure. We are coach, right? We have to help others and make the difference. Two things that I want to say. First, I know that you can do enchiladas very well. One day we went, let me tell you guys, one day we went in this meeting by Zoom and we noticed that Raine was cooking and we were like, hey, Raine, what are you cooking tonight? We just want to go to Colorado and eat with you tonight. And that was enchiladas and they look so yummy. And I was like, oh my God, I wish that you can be my neighbor. So for sure, I know that if you are you having those days that you don't remember, probably next day I know that you can do a great enchilada. So that's the most beautiful thing. And the other thing that I want to say is that your positive side, Raine, is beautiful. Is what make you different, and also what keep you going. Because sometimes I don't know, one life, post something, create content, and the reality is that we have different moments in our life, in our days, with our kids, family, clients or whatever. The thing is like how you see life. Are you a positive person? I am, and I know that you are. And just to having this injury in your life, you were saying, really, I'm a different person, but you are learning so much, Raine, because you, with your experience, you just tell us that you can help others that are in the same boat, and that's hard because if that something happened to me tomorrow, I know that I have you. And I know that, like someone like Francisca, for example, that is a friend of mine, a friend of yours, happens something similar. And it's beautiful when we can have those type of conversations because us that we don't understand and we don't have those shoes on, it's great to understand and listen to you and see you guys talking about the same conversation and teach us be humble, you know
Yes.
be humble because we can have everything today and tomorrow we can have nothing, you
That's
know
so true. It could all
and
go away.
yeah, and that's something that I want to emphasize here. Like we have to learn from each other so much, and I think every time that we are close to a woman, I think that we have to stop looking in a different way, as a rivals or something that you see. This is not your enemy. We are here to support each other, and that's something that we are doing, together, also with other women as a coach, as in the same movement that we are, as a woman that have kids, or the motherhood, everything that we have in our luggage, in our suitcase, that we can really share with others. Let's talk about now about what about your mentors. I know that you mentioned few of them, but I want to let us know if someone in particular that you want to share, what situation make you make a decision, or take it for you forever, or make a plan of living because that person really turn on that switch or open your eyes to a better world.
Well, I have a few mentors, and I just
Mhm.
just hired a brand new coach that I'm going to start working with next week, and I'm so excited to be working with Fede, and it's Federico Jimenez, and I'm just stoked. I really am. He gets me. But prior to him, Dean Graziosi has been huge. As a matter of fact, I was just in an inner circle training with him this morning, and oh gosh, I appreciated the many things. I took probably 17 pages, felt like now I think it was probably about 9 pages of notes, but just on helping me get myself back, back to where I am or where I want to be. But one of the things that he has taught me that has stuck with me so much is he always says, and we talked about this morning, like, where do you want to be a year from now? Where are you going to be? Who are you going to be? What are you going to be doing? Where are you going to
Mhm.
be 1 year from now? And then he's like, okay, how did you get there? What did you do to get there? Because we were talking planning. And so then when you look at it that way, and you look at yourself a year from now, what you've accomplished, the people that you've been able to reach, the lives you've been able to help change, you start looking that excites you. And you go, oh, yes. You see that in a positive way that you've already accomplished that. So then you step back and you go, well, what did I do to get there? And then you plan out, you do all your planning on how to make that a reality. And that is
Mm.
wonderful. It's a wonderful, 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 wonderful way to set goals and plans. Because instead of just saying, this is what I'd like to achieve, and you set goals, and that there's nothing wrong with that. Don't get me wrong.
Mhm.
But you go so much further when you already see yourself in a place. And
Mhm.
then you do the things to get there. It was like me with becoming a supervisor at the post office. I already knew I wanted to do that because I wanted to move myself up and get into some higher positions there. And so I saw myself already there. And I set those signals out. And then I did, okay, what do I have to do to get there? So it's kind of funny. I guess I was doing that even before I met Dean, but he really put it into concrete for me. And so that is my constant go to. I always go back to that. Where are you going to be, Raine? Where are you going to be a year from now? And even Fede, who I just hired, he said the same thing. Where do you want to be in 3 months? What are you going to be doing? What's your life going to look like? And so I jotted down a bunch of
Exactly.
notes of different things, and that's what I love. And so my mentors have been wonderful. Johnny Cooper is another one of my coaches and mentors, and I learn a lot from him in just how to basically find your ideal client. Not oh, let's just make it really broad. He's like, no, I want to know the person. I want, basically what color of their eyes, what's their family like? And you just really go deep so that you can connect with them in such a
Exactly.
way that you can actually help make a difference with their lives. And I
That is
love
true.
that. To me, that just touches my soul because I'm like, that's what I want. That's coaching, being able to really connect with an individual. And the only way to do that is to know the individual you want to connect with.
Exactly. Your ideal client. And
Yeah.
also, for sure, I have to say about that my success have been that relationship. And why? Because as much as you know your client, you can serve better. And I really enjoy so much when I know someone that is our first time, meeting, and this is our introduction to each other, how the rules of the game, and but at the same time the human part. For me, I open my sessions even praying, and I think that's I ask always because I don't know if someone's gonna say no, I don't want to pray, but usually all my clients say yes. And so I've been blessed about that. But it's beautiful that when I said to them, I want to have this prayer with you and start, kind of with a high energy our sessions to feel each other and really come from a genuine place, to be genuine with each other and really share what is in our heart. And that's a great thing. It's like what he was saying is amazing. But also, you were talking about short term, medium, a long term plan, and that's important because for me that's what keep me going and see
Yeah.
myself in a different position and have a north. Where I can see myself in a different perspective or different level. And I'm not saying level that I'm better than whatever. No, I'm saying level of reaching out there different goals and be a better professional, be a better human being. And for me is that's super important, especially I was coming from this industry that was so regulated, and they want every plan to be on point, and we have to do forecasts, and we have to do long range plans, and a lot of stuff that we have to see the future for that company. The same thing I do with my clients, the same thing I do with my own life, because even my kids have resolutions for every year. We have we do the vision board as a game, but at the same time it's like I just put them in perspective. So what do you want to accomplish this year? And that for me is essential, that you really put every plan ahead of you, and you can see yourself in the future. And for me, when you say I want like I'm a coach, I can do in a speech tomorrow. I love to be in front of an audience and really support them, given resources, different tools that they can really, for me, develop and have that evolution in their life and open their eyes and say, hey, I want better. I want to do better. I want to be a better person, but also I want to be a better professional, and I want to reach, those goals. And for me, that's so true, so true that we have to really plan ahead, but also never forget about the human part, you know?
Yes.
That's
Yes.
that's a big deal. That's a big
That is a huge deal. Well, and if you don't make any plans and you don't set yourself some goals of what you're going to accomplish and see yourself there, you'll never get there. Time just
Exactly.
goes. It just goes. And I mean, here we are already at the end of March. How many people set goals from January, that what they would have already had accomplished the first quarter of this year? I mean, are they there yet? Well, if not,
Mhm.
okay, maybe do a little adjustment and keep going. You don't just stop or give up. You just keep going. And but yeah, setting some goals and some plans for what you want to do and seeing yourself there. Really the key is already seeing yourself at the end. And
And
you do that.
also,
You see.
You know what, Rain, also that is important is like when you were saying, I acknowledge and I understand, that this is not for me now, or, like whatever is not working, just let it go,
That's
and
where the
move forward
humility
to
comes in. Yeah.
exactly because I think that something is not working for you. You have to say, you know what? Thank you so much for everything that you did for me so far. This is not for me anymore. And could be a person, could be a job, could be, a plan of a project that you have in your hands. And you notice that it's not the environment for you because, the energy is negative or too much. Whatever it is, it's just be smart enough to make that decision. And, you know, with love, we let you go. With love, we continue moving to a different direction. And that's a beautiful thing. You have to have that flexibility. You have to understand that sometimes things are not working in the way that you want. And also have the wisdom to move forward to a different place that make you, closer or getting you closer to what you want to be, 3 years from now, 5 years from now. So that happened. We have to do pivot. We have to
We do.
really change, our probably the system that you were doing. Probably when you started as a coach, that happened to me. I was doing so totally different what I'm doing now. And that's a beautiful thing that we have to learn how to do it. Because if we stay in the same pattern, you are not growing. And also the
True.
market is pushing you to a different direction. So be flexible and adapt, you know?
I like that. Flexible and adapt. And you have to. I mean, you have to. Well, in my situation with a brain injury and others that are like this, you have to. You have to allow yourself to completely vulnerable. I mean, you just get rid of any humility you have. And a lot of you just have to. I mean, I mean, have humility, get rid of any pride that you have because
Mhm.
you are
Mhm.
in a different state of mind. A lot of people, it's like it's not like a mental illness, but it's like mental illness to where it's hidden. People don't see it. People might see you and go, well, you're carrying on a perfectly good conversation, so what's wrong with you? You should be fine. But they don't know that maybe after that you're going to need to go to bed for the next 4 hours and take a good long nap and let your brain just rest. And that's okay. That's the thing. It's okay if you just have to stop. That's important. If all of a sudden, I mean, when I first started getting back into life again, I would get up, I would get dressed, make my bed, and I needed a nap. My brain was so tired. I took advantage of what all my brain did. I really did. I mean, but it does everything. But all that was involved in just getting me to get up, get dressed, say my prayer, make my bed, that was more than it could do for that time. And it just needed to rest and it would just shut down. And so I was just kind of in shutdown mode. So I'm like, okay. But instead of fighting it, I learned to accept it. And I would fight it for a while in the beginning. I did fight it because I was like, no, I have to work. I have to make money. I have to get online. And I go online and I try and do a video. And oh my goodness, I go back and watch some of those during that. And I go, oh, I should have never gotten on there. Ruined my credibility there. It's like, oh, why would I want to train with that woman? She's not even with it. But it was me just going, no, I not only was it I have to do this, but I also kept with that mindset. I've had concussions before, I've hit my head, it made me ditzy for a month, and then I was fine. This was not that. This was completely different. I smashed my frontal lobe 3 times in just a very tiny, short window, within like just a couple of minutes. And also the back of my head. So within just a couple of minutes, that was 5 fatal, massive blows to the head. That did some damage. And I had to just accept that and go, it's okay. I mean, I was dating a guy who was like, referred to it as just hitting my head. I mean, that's how I kind of blew it off, just saw me. And when I was like, oh, I wish that's all it were. I really wish that's all I did. But once I didn't worry about what he was saying, I didn't worry about what other people were saying. It was like, okay, Raine, what's going on with you? What do you need to do to get better?
Mm-hmm.
And once I allowed that to happen, everything changed. Everything. I used to be a person who I could have 4 or 5 huge projects going at once,
I
really
know.
good delegator, excellent multitasker, and I'd have everything flowing well. To
Mm-hmm.
even
Mm-hmm.
think about doing that right now, it's like, no, there's one thing at a time. And in one respect, that's also really good because I never knew how to focus on just one thing at a time. Because my mind would go so many different places and I could do a lot of things at once. I never taught myself how to just focus on one thing at a time. So this forced me to. And it's been a great lesson. I have learned so much. And I also learned I've accomplished more by doing that. And so it's huge. It's been a huge learning curve, a big learning experience. A great, like I said, a great part of humility just has had to come out. I had no choice. And I had to let people help me.
Yes, that's another thing. That's
That
another
was
thing.
probably the most humbling. For a
Yep.
while, I had to let my teenage son pay the bills because I couldn't work and I was the only income. And he was in his senior year of high school, working almost full time while finishing up school. And he just jumped right in and he did. And I was like, hey, don't worry, I'll pay you back after I sell the house. But, he trusted me enough to just go every paycheck, here, mom. Now I
You did
know,
a great
like, what,
job.
60 years ago that was common, or 70 years ago, however it was, kids helped, with the family. But that's
Yeah,
not
for
how it
sure.
goes. It was
Well, you
humbling
raised
to
you
ask.
you raised a good young man. I'm pretty sure.
He is, and yeah, a friend of mine had said, you are definitely preparing him for manhood with this. This is something, and
Exactly.
he never questioned it. He's been so sweet and so kind, and I know it's probably one of the reasons he's still here at 19 because he just wanted to make sure mom was okay before leaving. Is she going to be all right? And I
Yeah,
am.
he's gonna be around anyway, and he have been like close to what happened to you, so probably he's closer, in that aspect, and understand mom better as well. So that's happened, right? When Sergio is the oldest, he had a concussion as well, and he was playing football, American football, and I never knew anything about it. Like I know the word, I know what can cause, but it's nothing like living it in your life, in having it at home. So they called me to work, and I was working. Thank God I was not traveling that day. And then I run like crazy, get to the school, and when I saw my son, he was not the same. He was like lost. His eyes was very open, wide open, trying to communicate. He can't even talk. Um, I got chills right now. But
Yeah, that's
as
hard to
as
see.
a mom, see your kids like having so much trouble or something that happened to them, your world, fall apart. And then I remember that he had to be, I don't know, 2 3 months just being sleeping, looking to the roof, or the ceiling of the house, or not can even watch TV, and can have the cell phone. He even asked, "Can I go to a game to watch a game?" And doctors say no. Like thank God that he was in a great program of football here where we live, and they have like a baseline test that they do to all the football players. So if something happened, they can go back to the baseline and then understand where is your memory. So he lost like 75% of his memory, and that was, we didn't know what is gonna happen. He was young, and probably we were so scared because we didn't know what is, your body react different ways, and thank God, like probably 3 months later, he went back to school. The school was amazing, supporting us, like incredible. And Sergio nowadays he's fine, like we make jokes with him because sometimes we say, "Hey, Sergio, remember something?" I was like, Mama, don't ask me about stuff. I don't even remember half of my life. But I remember that what I'm doing now. So, long term memory, I don't know, short term, it's like we have to, he was, it's incredible. He was doing, I think that we was in the second year of high school. And he asked me, like almost in his knees, Mommy, I want to go back to football. So, as a mom saying yes to him again, I was like, oh
That's
my gosh. And he continued playing. And he graduated with 4.3, a GPA, and he's continued.
fantastic.
Today he graduated from biology, and he's doing an amazing job, like with patients, physical therapy, and helping other people that they can't even walk. And that is like the best gift,
That is a
the
gift.
best gift.
That is a big
So,
gift.
so I love that. Things happen to us for a reason, and I know that is a divine intervention here. How I mentioned before. But the beautiful thing is to recognize, acknowledge, deal with the reality, and be humble. Never lose that, and continue growing. We cannot stop growing and make a
Amen.
difference in the world. And before we leave, because we have been 51 minutes together, I love
Wow.
it.
Awesome.
So let us know, Rain, what is in your heart. If you want to say something to all the women that are watching right now, especially this is for women to women, but I'm pretty sure that we have a lot of men also watching. You want to say something about our evolution, the way that we should be facing the reality in our life, and whatever you want to share with us from your wisdom.
Thank you. Well, I would start with saying never give up. Never give up. Take baby steps if you have to, and that's okay. Baby steps are good. Really, baby steps are better in most ways, because if you take great strides, a lot of times you miss over a lot of things, and so go at your pace that you can go on, and just listen to yourself, listen to your body, listen to your mind. If you're going through traumatic things and you find yourself getting tired over and over, okay, your mind is just telling you you need to rest. Let yourself rest. We get so busy, and we have so many things going on. We were talking about that in the beginning, Ydalmis, where you were saying, especially as women, we just go, 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 go. We have 50 different hats that we wear, and we just feel like we have to do it all. But if we don't take care of ourselves first, oxygen mask first, that is just my biggest thing, oxygen mask first. If we don't take care of ourselves first, we cannot help other people. We just can't. We're not going to be there for them. And be easy on yourself. If things didn't go so well, try again. One of my favorite stories, I'll share this really quick because I know we're getting close out of time, but there was this wonderful story this taught about teaching his daughter how to be, not so much how to be perfect, but how to be a better person. And she was wanting to be a better person. And he's like, I really want to learn how to have like a perfect day. And he said, well, a day is a 24-hour period. So you just start your day out perfect. If things don't go so well, maybe you say something inappropriate to somebody, or you get mad at somebody and you think ill thoughts towards them, just start your day over. It's a 24-hour period. So that evening when he got home from work and she was home from school, he asked her, he was like, hey, honey, how did your day go? She's like, it went great. I started it over 6 times, but I'm telling you, it was a perfect day. And I just love that. I thought, yes. And she was so innocent about it. And I thought, that is it. That's how simple it is. It really is that simple. Just start it over. Okay, oops. One of the things in healing with my brain is you go through different stages. Like there was a time earlier on when I got angry, and that is so not me. And I'd be driving down the road and somebody would cut me off. I get really angry at them. And then afterwards I'd be like, oh gosh, I'm so sorry, Heavenly Father. I didn't mean to cuss them out and stuff. That is not me. What's wrong with me? I even told my doctor this and he laughed. He's like, that is not you, Raine. I said, I know. But I prayed a lot about that. And I got past that. That passed. And so now I can look back and I can laugh about it. But I felt really bad at the time that that's what I was going through. Then, as the more
Hmm.
studies that I did, I saw that that was actually part of the healing process. That was just a stage of my brain going through. And so, if you go through something like that, prayer really helps. I will tell you, instead of cussing out, just say, "Oh, God bless that idiot over there." I mean, something, shoot a little arrow prayer. And then you can change it from idiot to maybe moron to my brother down the road. Okay. But it really does help when you just allow yourself to go through those processes because you'll get past it.
Hmm.
Know that this too will
Hmm.
pass and allow yourself to be injured. Really, if it's a physical injury like with my brain injury and your son's concussion and his brain injury and Francisca's, that's so serious. Allow yourself to be healed. But sometimes it might be a relationship that broke up. You were deeply in love with this person and it didn't work out and you have to let it go. Allow yourself to feel the pain. It's really easy for us to just push it off. Okay, I'm just going to push that off because I'll just dive into my work and dive into this and not let it bother me and not let it affect me.
Hmm.
It's going to affect you 1,000 times worse if you don't. So allow yourself, and I'm not saying go around moping all the time. That's not what I mean. But give yourself some time. If you need to take a day or take a couple hours one day and just go and curl up in a ball and cry or go walk up a mountain because it'll make you feel better, go for it. Do what will help heal you, but let yourself feel that pain and then you'll get through it. Because if you don't and you hold it in, it gets 1,000 times worse. Find what works for you.
Exactly.
Meditation is a wonderful thing. I love meditation. If meditation isn't for you,
Me
I know
too.
it's not for everybody. Find some nice music. Like I have this meditative music that I listen to, meditative guitars. I listen to Celtic flute music, and I'll just put it on my sound box and have it really soft, just playing in the background and just kind of sit, whether I'm up in the mountains and I'm listening, or you're sitting on the beach, or wherever you're at, even if you're in your living room. Just take a few moments and just listen and it soothes your mind. It calms your mind. And that's what we need. Because after we do that, we get up and we're like, it's like you're revived. Like I can go do this. I
Me
can handle
too.
this now. So those are some of the most important things that I can really say. And just kind of focus on the impact you make on other people's lives. Like
Hmm.
what you were saying, I didn't know that what I shared with you guys touched you in such a way. I mean, I was just being me, just chatting on, sharing with you guys something that touched me because I hoped it could help you, but I didn't really know if it could. But I thought this is something that is universal. We
Hmm.
all have brain. We all have stress. We all have situations and trials and obstacles that we have to overcome.
That is true.
And we grow through every one of them. And probably the last thing is use your toolbox. And that's one of the things I teach when I'm coaching is how to tap into your toolbox of life experiences. Hey, you've made it through every single thing you've been through up to this point. Every hardship and trial. And think about before those happened. You'd think, whew, I don't know if I could even handle that. I don't know about that. And here you've already made it through. You're on the other side, and you've had like five more crazy things happen to you. That you've made it through. So believe in
For
yourself.
sure.
Grab that toolbox and use that to strengthen you and remind you how strong you really are and what you can accomplish. And that is my goal, is to help people learn how to tap into what they already have and become who they are now. It's okay you're not who you were. You're not supposed to be who you were. This is all about growing. So grow. And
Exactly. You know what? And that's beautiful. The other day I was listening to someone that say, I was in a coaching session and my coach told me, talk, let's talk about gift. What gift do you have? What do you think is your major gift? So she was explaining, 2 or 3 gifts that she think that she's good at it, and she said, so that means that you are not playing with your major gift, because the coach, know her, right? And
Mhm.
know that she's capable to do more than what she was doing. And that's something that we have to remind ourselves. We are not even probably in the top yet, because we are not letting us know, to stop and listen. And when you were saying meditation, music, all that stuff, I'm pretty sure that Graciosi, all these people, and you know that when you watch them or go to one of the events, the first thing that they say is, "Hey, stop your mind, stop
Yes.
your mind thinking, and let those thoughts ease, be relaxed, listen to your heart. If you believe in God, let Him talk to you. Open that communication channel, because I'm pretty sure that He wants to be talking to you and say what you need to know. But we sometimes are so into our busy life that we don't
Yes.
have that moment. And you were saying perfectly, because I do that during the morning or during the night, but one moment in my life during the day, I have to meditate, or I have to take a break. Is to just sometimes happening in the middle of the day. So before I pick up my daughter, and I said, you know what, let me just before she come here, because she's gonna come with a different energy that I have to support, right? And probably I was dealing with a situation with one client, and I was like kind of ready to embrace my daughter or whatever it is, and you have to stop. And I say before, she comes here, and after I finish my session, I'm gonna take a break. I'm gonna be 1 hour for myself, or 20 minutes, or 30 minutes, whatever it is, that doesn't matter. But say, okay, I'm ready to receive, and I'm ready to let go whatever is not for me at this point. So thank you so much, my friend. Thank you so much for being here tonight, for sharing your story, for letting us to be, in your house and be close to you, and for your friendship and for your love. So thank you so much, Rain.
Oh, my pleasure, and thank you. Oh, I appreciate you. I enjoy meeting with you every week. It's so much fun to get on our Dreamweaver group and talk and listen to your energy and to your stories. And you're absolutely right. Taking that time, no matter what it is, no matter what time of day, especially if you've had a lot going on with your work and now you're transitioning to going to pick up your kids, you want to be in that mindset for them. And it's so important to be able to do that. And we each have our own ways of doing things, and that's it. Discover what is your way, what works best for you, and when you do, use it. Just apply it and use that in your life, and it does bring a lot more peace to our souls when we do that. So thank you, Ydalmis. This has been a lot of fun. I've really enjoyed it.
Oh my
Thank you for
gosh.
inviting
For
me.
me, likewise, likewise. So thank you everybody that is watching. Thank you so much
Yes.
for coming with us, every Wednesday at 7 o'clock. Remember, you can watch this in YouTube, but also you can go to LinkedIn or Facebook and keep us, sharing these beautiful stories of these women. And thank you one more time, Rain, and see you next Monday. Bye bye.
Sounds good. Bye.